My name is Clara, and I'm 37 years old. There's no easy way to say this, but I'll try. The moment I spoke those words, everything shifted, and nothing will ever be the same again. I want a different life, I told him, my voice trembling with emotions I couldn't control. At the time, I believed it was just a passing feeling, something born out of frustration. But I was wrong. So terribly wrong. You never truly understand the weight of your words until it's too late to take them back. I always thought I had time, that there was always time to fix things, to change things, to undo the damage. But I was wrong again. Time doesn't wait, and neither does regret. It wasn't like our marriage was awful. We weren't fighting all the time. We weren't even unhappy. At least, I didn't think we were. But somewhere along the way, I started feeling restless. The life I once adored seemed to suffocate me. The small, quiet moments that used to bring me joy now felt dull, predictable, and monotonous. I began to wonder what it would be like to live differently, what it would be like to break free from the routine. I wanted something more, something exciting, something that would make me feel alive again. I wanted adventure. I wanted to be someone else. I wanted the life I thought I could never have. But I never realized the price of that yearning. It started with the little things. The longing stares out the window when I should have been paying attention to the conversation in front of me. The distractions, the daydreams, the restless nights, wondering if this was all there was. I felt trapped in a life I chose, but somehow, I started to believe it wasn't the life I wanted anymore. But who was I to say that? Who was I to decide that this wasn't enough? When Daniel came into my life, everything felt different. He was everything I thought I needed. Wild, spontaneous, carefree. He made me feel young again. He made me feel like I had a future beyond the small, predictable world I had built with my husband, Jake. Jake, on the other hand, was steady. He was calm, grounded. He loved me in a way I couldn't always understand. He was reliable, always there, always making sure I was okay. But somehow, I started to feel like I was settling. And that's when the whispers began in my mind, whispers that told me there was something more, something outside of this small town, outside of this life. And so, one evening, after a long day of doing nothing remarkable, I said it. I want a different life, I told Jake. It came out in anger, frustration, and desperation. It wasn't planned. I didn't rehearse the words. I just blurted them out, as if they were my truth. But the truth was, I didn't know what I wanted. I just knew that this wasn't it. Jake's face changed in an instant. His eyes, once warm and full of love, grew distant. The man who had been my partner for over 10 years, the man who had stood by me through thick and thin, suddenly looked like a stranger. He didn't shout, didn't argue. He didn't even say anything at first. He just stared at me, as if waiting for me to take it back. But I didn't. I don't think I can be the person you need me to be, I said, my voice almost a whisper. I didn't even recognize myself in that moment. He took a step back. His shoulders slumped, as though I had physically knocked the wind out of him. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't storm out of the room. He didn't do anything that I thought he might do. Instead, he stood there, his eyes glassy, his lips trembling with what I could only assume was the fight to hold back the tears. I watched him break before my eyes, and I did nothing to stop it. Jake didn't leave right away. No, he stayed in the house that night. We didn't speak, not a word, but I knew. Deep down, I knew that something had changed between us. Something inside him had snapped, and I was the one who had broken it. The next morning, he was distant. He barely looked at me as he packed his things. It wasn't an angry scene, no shouting, no grand gestures. He just left. He didn't say goodbye. He didn't explain. He just left, and I was left standing there, wondering what had just happened. I didn't even try to stop him. I didn't even think to. I just let him go, thinking he would be back. But he didn't come back. 2 days later, I found a letter on the kitchen counter. It was brief. He said he couldn't do it anymore. He couldn't keep living in a marriage where I wasn't all in. Where I was wishing for something different. He didn't deserve that, and neither did I. The letter ended with one line. I need to find myself, Clara. I hope you do too. And that was it. That was the moment that broke me. The moment I realized the price of my words. I tried calling him. I texted him. I emailed him. I begged. I apologized. But he didn't answer. Days turned into weeks, and still, there was nothing. I see him in the smallest of things now. When I go to the grocery store and reach for the salsa he always liked. When I hear a song on the radio that we used to sing along to. When I'm lying awake at night, staring at the ceiling, and I realize just how quiet the house is without him. I wonder if I'll ever feel whole again. I wonder if I'll ever feel like I have a life worth living, or if I'll always be haunted by the fact that I told the one person who loved me that I wanted a different life. What would have happened if I'd just stayed? What would have happened if I hadn't let my restlessness get the best of me? Jake was my home, but I thought I needed more. And now, I'm left with a life I don't recognize, full of empty space and memories that I can't escape. If you're reading this and you have someone who loves you in a way that makes you feel safe and secure, don't take that for granted. Don't chase after things that you think will make you happy because you might just end up losing the one thing that was worth more than anything else. I wish I could take back that night. I wish I could unsay those words. But I can't. Now, all I have left are the echoes of a life I once had, wondering what could have been.